Oh, yes. It's one of these real big questions I have. These witnesses, a person who's antagonistic toward the party, who summoned him as a witness, or the prosecuting witness, the individual upon whose complaint or information a criminal action has begun, and upon whose testimony the guilt of the accused may be based. Yes. Now, these competent witnesses who is legally qualified to testify in a case, the competency of a witness does not necessarily mean the testimony will be truthful. But I mentioned that how can you have a truthful witness to a court case where they know that I responded? Yes. That when you arrested me and I was found not guilty? Right. Then I was in trial for allegedly violating the protection order that has no protections for me or the minors named, and you won't remove your court orders because I'm supposed to be grieving over the thought of what I'm actually doing and how being homeless and without any rights as a citizen that I couldn't I couldn't do anything about what you're doing. Ooh. Now, when you don't allow me to call witnesses in my favor before you obligate me to a 1077, and then you take me off the docket for 3 months, then you put me back on, yeah. And then we're going to have a cell hearing where I have to trust the public defender because I'm not going to fire him. I have too many documented lawsuits where I wanted to sue the public defender's office, the prosecuting attorney's office, for depriving me of the right to having competent witnesses that could actually say that they received an email from me on June 16th of 2017 in Port Angeles, Washington. Now, those police officers that are employed that got that million emails from me that thought, well, this is just a mentally ill man that sits outside of a mental health well, let's look at the witnesses on each and every one of these Superior Court hearings, all of them that you didn't docket and you did docket. Yes! Let's say that the petitioner motioned the court for default dissolution of marriage where I had responded. Yes, I paid the sheriff's department to serve her. They did know that she was in the courthouse. They did deny her request for a default dissolution of marriage, but they did not actually wait the required number of days before having the court hearing because she tried to slip one in. Pooch! She tried to kind of motion the court before receiving the response, and then the court commissioner, Brent Baisden, believed everything she said, but he said, I'm sorry, he responded, and as soon as Paul has a mental health evaluation, oh, you're going to restore me to competency because you're going to admit me to a mental facility for a crime I didn't commit in Brennan, Washington, and I didn't commit any cyber stalking when I email law enforcement every day. Now, my public defender could have called the Port Angeles Police Department. Did you get any emails from Paul Budnick and any comments and video about his rights being violated? But they didn't do that. No. They didn't want to look at the video camera surveillance footage from December 31st of 2015. Their thought was, well, we're going to get rid of him and he's never going to be able to sue us and we're not going to prison. Now, exactly who was the witness that said to the deputy prosecuting attorney, I did witness Paul C. Budnick, some sort of verbal abuse that took place that day when I was sitting in Port Angeles, Washington. See, when you file a 2-count criminal complaint, I know the deputy prosecuting attorney was not there. He was someplace else that day. He personally didn't witness it. No, he didn't. Was it CPS or the superintendent of the Brennan School District, or was it a teacher? Yes. I'd like to know what individuals personally saw me on December. Now, I think it's more than fraud, because when you say you're a witness and you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, what individual did contact the prosecuting attorney's office and raise the allegation, yes, that I was in Brennan, Washington on June 16th of 2017, and then what third party, yes, that works in the Brennan or the Quilcene School District, received an email from me. Now, from all those school districts and the rest of the nation that I did email, pooch, that I said it was retaliation. exactly what competent witnesses do you have that are not open to bribery? Why don't we go through the employees of the school districts of the state of Washington today and find out how many got jury notices in the last 25 years? See, my thought is when I document a crime, right, and I use the actual evidence from your court, yes, as to my rights being violated and my sons were fraudulently taken from me, yes, you have an obligation to enforce the laws of the United States. Now, this belief that you can lie about the knowledge that you have, yeah, it happens to be against the law. Now, I'm going to want some witnesses, okay? How many persons saw me on June 16th of 2017 sitting in front of the Masonic Temple going through Cowgill State Response? And then exactly what school districts did receive emails from me documenting the missing and abducted sons that have been kidnapped because you issued a dissolution of marriage that happens to be in violation of international contractual agreements with the United Nations. And then how many persons don't understand that, well, I do want my sons today, and I wanted those victims' resources, and as much as you say, well, this is never going to end up the way that he wants, I think I have the legal right to sue 2 to 4 million citizens that happen to be employees of the government that have any knowledge of witnessing the credible lawsuits. Now, maybe you could just have them call me because I'm absolutely sure that it requires the signature of a certified teacher of the state of Washington. Every teacher has to acknowledge any court orders. It's something within their employment contracts right now. Now, you're really upsetting me because nobody allowed me to call any witnesses on my behalf. I could have called the whole police department right now because you're all liars, aren't you? You lied for the last 3 fucking years, right?